It's now time to tune into Folkways FM for July 2022's Almanac. The ship is approaching Ravenglass on the edge of the Lake District, I've been told. So without further ado, let's try and pick 'em up. Welcome to July 2022's Almanac, where we consider the heavens and the hedgerows for the hopefully sunny month ahead. Let's first start off with a poem by Laura Gilpin. This is Two-Headed Calf. Tomorrow, when the farm boy finds this freak of nature, they will wrap his body in newspaper and carry him to the museum. But tonight he is alive and in the north field with his mother. It is a perfect summer evening, the moon rising over the orchard, the wind in the grass. And as he stares into the sky, there are twice as many stars as usual. July, named in honour of Julius Caesar. In Irish, it's Úil, Welsh, Gufanaf, Cornish, Misgutherin, Manx, Jerry Sowry, Scots Gaelic, Intuha. The Anglo-Saxons knew this as Aftera Letha, which follows last month, June, when we had First Letha. The warmer part of the year saw many fairs being held in days of old, and we've still got many today. They used to go by a bewildering amount of names, including fairs, feasts, fetes, wakes, revels, ales, treats, mops, and so on. They're often quite a big deal, and it might be hard for us to appreciate what these might have meant for people before the mid-20th century, especially those rural workers whose chance for socialising might have been limited. Interestingly, in 1871, it was clearly all getting a bit out of hand as the Fairs Act came into being, which went like this. Whereas certain of the fairs in England and Wales are unnecessary, are the cause of grievous immorality, and are very injurious to the inhabitants of the towns in which such fairs are held, and it is therefore expedient to make provisions to facilitate the abolition of them. As perhaps testament to this, on the 27th of August 1865, a 19-year-old George Dew from Lower Hayford, Oxfordshire, recorded this in his diary. Hayford feast. The drunkenness of this day has been most abominable. Very few people at church, but public houses full. It would be no loss if there were no feasts. And talking of feasts and fairs, this made me think of Fairlop Fair, an ancient event that originally took place on the first Friday in July around a huge oak tree in Epping Forest that was reputed to be 36 feet in circumference. Sadly, the oak was blown down in 1820, and here's a fun fact. Its wood was used to make the pulpit of St Pancras Church, Euston Road, London. So if you happen to be in the area this month, why not pop by, continuing to say hello to the tree at this time of year. On the 14th of July, it is good old St Swithin's Day, so be sure to thoroughly check the skies, as it's believed whatever the weather is on this day will remain for the next 40 days. If you woke up in Galway on the 1st of July, the sun rose at 5:13 and set at 22:06. Glasgow, the sun rose at 4:36 and set at 22:04. And Guildford, the sun rose at 4:50 and set at 21:21. Though of course we've got more light than this time last month, for over a week now we've started having to give some of it back, and by the end of this month we'll have lost over an hour of light. So just be mindful to squeeze as much as you can from these glorious summer evenings. The moon was new on Wednesday the 29th of June and will be full on Wednesday the 13th of July. This is another supermoon, which is where the moon, when closest to the Earth in its orbit, coincides with a full moon, making our satellite look particularly big, bright and beautiful as it shines down on summer meadows, chimney stacks and coastlines. This month's full moon on Wednesday the 13th is known as the thunder moon, wart moon, hay moon and mead moon. Once again, because of the relatively bright nights at the moment, stargazing isn't the easiest. However, you shouldn't have a problem spotting the bright and shining star Vega, which is high overhead at the moment. Vega forms part of the constellation Lyra, which looks like a small slanted box, or parallelogram should I say. Lyra represents the musical instrument, the lyre. So hunt down this bright star of Vega with the little box Lyra the lyre. Close by you will see Hercules doing his thing, and close to him you'll spot Draco, who looks like it is snapping at Hercules. What do you know about the dog days of summer? The phrase is actually a reference to the fact that during this time the sun occupies the same region of the sky as Sirius, the brightest star visible from any part of the Earth, and part of the constellation Canis Major, the Great Dog. This is why Sirius is sometimes called the Dog Star. As I've mentioned, in the summer Sirius rises and sets with the sun, and on or around July 23rd specifically, there is a conjunction of the two. Thus, the term dog days of summer came to mean the 20 days before and the 20 days after this alignment of Sirius with the sun. So, loosely, it is thought of as being July the 3rd to August the 11th. In Homer's Iliad, probably composed in the 8th century BC, but representing an earlier tradition, Achilles' approach towards Troy, where he will slay Hector, is illustrated through an extended metaphor about the baleful effects of the return of the star Sirius. Quote, Priam saw him first with his old man's eyes, a single point of light on Troy's dusty plain. Sirius rises late in the dark, liquid sky. On summer nights, star of stars, Orion's dog they call it, brightest of all, but an evil portent, bringing heat and fevers to suffering humanity. Achilles' bronze gleamed like this as he ran. And even up to quite recent times, the dog days were regarded as an evil time when malign influences wreaked havoc, people became ill, and dogs ran mad. For foraging, find cherry and cherry plums, which, although like cherries, are clearly not, yet neither are they plums. Their Latin name nicely reflects this puzzle: plum that bears cherries. Raspberries, meadowsweet, and elderflowers at the beginning of the month can also be found too. This is the time of year many of us are thinking about our pending summer holidays. Thinking of something to get us in the holiday mood, your challenge this month is to try and hunt down the 1976 film Nuts in May, which offers a slightly different spin on the traditional summer break. I'm sure many of my listeners are nodding sagely at this recommendation, but if there are any of you out there who haven't seen it, it's a TV film that was made for BBC's Play for Today series. I've seen you can find odd DVDs knocking around on eBay, but in the show notes you'll also see an option to stream it that I found for a couple of quid. Quick disclaimer, this is not going to be for everyone's taste. However, if you like dry, toe-curlingly cringe stuff like The Office, this film might become a friend for life. I won't give anything away apart from watch out for a particular musical scene. Till next time. That was interesting, wasn't it? To see the show out, here is a few lines of The Magic Apple Tree by Susan Hill. We take plates and bowls and mugs or apples and peaches in hand and eat whatever breakfast we have each foraged for in the garden, on the wooden seat beneath the apple tree, sitting on the step or on the edge of the little pond, watching the first creamy-petalled water lilies unfurl, flatten out and gradually reveal their yellow hearts and orange stamens. The petals are in densely packed layers like flowers cut out of paper. The dog Tinker is at my feet. The cats come padding across the grass to sit and wash themselves thoughtfully. It is a good time. No rush to school. No rush to do anything at all. Jessica finds an ant's house under a stone and gazes at the seething millions.